Hello, I'm Lauren with indoorgardening.com, and today let's talk about moving your houseplants outside. There's lots of different reasons why we would move our plants outside. A few of them are the fact that the plants would get a lot more sunlight and be a lot healthier and happier. Next up, we have natural pest management. So if you have a plant that has been suffering with pests inside and you have not been able to get that under control, you can place it outside, and majority of the time, the pests that are on your plant are going to be eaten by their natural predators. There's a whole thriving ecosystem outside that will take care of these problems for you. The issues come inside when we don't have those things available for us. So when we move our plants outside, a lot of these issues are solved. Another thing that can be taken care of by moving your plants outside is they will get more vitamins, nutrients, and minerals from the rainwater than they would from any of the water that we could possibly give them inside, unless we are physically carrying that rainwater into our plants. So what plants can go outside? All of them. Every single plant you have can go outside. So all plants can go outside provided that their needs are going to be met. When you go to move your plants outside, you do want to make sure that the temperature is above 50 degrees, that there is not going to be any freezing, that there's not going to be any frost, and you want to make sure that there's not going to be any bad weather that is going to hurt your plants, like a tropical storm or anything like that. You don't want to set your plants outside and then just have them blown away or damaged. You do want to check for nighttime temperatures, and you do want to check for the last frost date and make sure you are past that before you move your houseplants outside. Majority of houseplants cannot withstand below 50 degrees, and they certainly cannot withstand frost. Another thing to keep in mind is when you're moving your plants outside, you cannot just take them from inside lighting conditions and place them directly in the sunlight. If you do this, they will burn. Even plants that absolutely love light, like succulents and cacti, they will burn. So what you have to do in order to make them able to adjust or acclimate, they usually call it acclimation, is just slowly move them out. So you take your plants and you put them in a shaded area, and then you scoot them into a little bit more sun one day, let them sit there for a day or two, scoot them in a little bit more light for another day or two, and then you can put them in full light after about a week or so. And this will prevent that burning for you. There are plants, however, that are not going to be able to withstand that full, bright, direct sunlight. A lot of houseplants are actually considered low light plants outside, which means that they prefer to be under a tree or under a porch. They prefer to be in a more shaded environment, and they do not want to be somewhere that is going to put bright, direct sunlight on them. They will burn regardless of whether you acclimate them or not. So that's another thing that you want to keep in mind. You definitely want to check on the needs of your plants and make sure that you are meeting them when you put them outside. And speaking of your plants' needs, the last thing that you need to worry about when you are moving your plants outside is their needs might change. You might have only had to water your plants once or twice a week, sometimes even way less than that, maybe even only once a month, depending on the plant, when you had them inside. But when you move them outside, there are a lot of outdoor factors like the sun evaporating things off. You'll have wind conditions. Your plants are going to be growing more and growing faster. So they're going to be using up more water. You are going to need to water your plants more when you move them outside, so make sure that you plan for that. Some environments may even require you to water your plants twice a day. For example, a very hot place like Texas, porch plants do get watered about twice a day. Same for Arizona, certain parts of California. When it's very hot, especially in the middle of the spring and summertime, you are going to have to make these acclimations. If you are not willing to water your plants that much, or you know that you are going to have to water them that much, but you are not going to be available to do it, something that you can do is repot your plant from a terracotta into a plastic pot. You can also take a smaller pot and unpot that and put it in a bigger pot, and that way the water will be held more in that bigger pot than it would have been in a smaller pot, and that will reduce the amount that you have to water the plant. You just have to be very careful if you do this that you don't accidentally overwater and rot your plants. Moving your plants outdoors can be an amazing thing for them. It can triple and quadruple their growth. It is their natural place to be, so it makes sense that they would do a lot better out there. In fact, most people who keep houseplants in their home cannot wait for spring and summertime to be able to move their plants outside. There are a lot of houseplants that would benefit for being outside, and it can be a wonderful thing to do for your plants. There are certain things that you have to do to make sure that it's going to be safe for them, though, and that it is not going to harm your plants in the process. Hopefully this gave you some tips and tricks, and hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight. Make sure you check out indoorgardening.com while you wait for our next video. There's lots of information there for you. We're always happy to help. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!